I am Ibrahim Traore, the truth you can't silence. I'm archiving every distortion. I am Ibrahim Traore, and today I'm pulling off your masks. Yes, you heard correctly. I, whom you call a young military junta leader, whom you brand as a dangerous radical, whom you serve up as an anti-Western dictator. I am truth, and this time you cannot turn off your microphones. You cannot turn away your cameras. Your editors cannot cut this speech because the world you monopolized no longer exists. Because millions will hear these words now without passing through your filters, without being subjected to your distortions, without being muddied by your lies. I am 34 years old. Every day of my life, I grew up with your lies. As a child, I would watch Africa on television. Always the same images: children with flies, dry lands, weapons, death. This is Africa, they told us. This is what Africa is. And we believed it. We were ashamed of ourselves, ashamed of our own lands, ashamed of our own people. But then I grew up. I read, I researched, I questioned, and I understood that the Africa you showed us wasn't real. The story you told us was a lie. The fate you imposed on us was a script you had written for years. How have you portrayed Africa? How have you shown it? How have you sold it to your viewers? As if we were creatures with no share of humanity, as if we were savages left outside of civilization, as if we were wretches waiting for you to save us. Every day, every hour, every minute, the same story plays on your screens: hunger, war, disease, corruption, terror, chaos. These are the words that come to mind when Africa is mentioned. In your Africa dictionary, there are no other words. No hope, no success, no development, no resistance, no honor, no pride, no victory. So I ask you, New York Times, Washington Post, Guardian, Le Monde, have you ever made Africa's successes your headlines? How many times have you written about Rwanda's technology miracle? How many times have you shown Ethiopia's reforestation project? How many times have you praised Botswana's democratic success? How many times have you described Kenya's entrepreneurial ecosystem? No, because these don't fit your scenario. Your Africa cannot be successful. Because if it's not backward, how will you legitimize your exploitation? How will you intervene? How will you look down on it? Have you ever asked yourselves, why are the people of the world's richest lands poor? Here are the numbers for you. Cobalt, 70% of world reserves. From Congo, used in cell phones, computers, electric cars. Congolese can't afford a cell phone. Platinum, 90% of world reserves. From South Africa, used in electronics, implants, converters. South Africans crushed by unemployment. Gold, 30% of global production. From Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Tanzania. Gold flows like rivers. People swim in poverty. Diamonds, 65% of global supply. From Botswana, Angola, Congo, Sierra Leone. Miners live on $1 a day. Uranium, 35% of reserves. From Niger, Namibia, South Africa. Paris, lights burn bright. Our villages sit in darkness. And you still ask, why is Africa poor? Wrong question. The right question is, how was Africa kept poor while being so rich? Here's your answer. Colonialism didn't end. It evolved. You used to occupy our lands. Now you establish companies. You used to take by force. Now you sign agreements. You ruled with the whip. Now you rule with credit. Examples? Here you go. Glencore, Swiss mining giant. 2022 revenue, $256 billion. Tax paid to Congo, $500 million, 0.2%. Rio Tinto, British Australian, extracts bauxite in Guinea, 20 million tons annually. What's left behind? Pollution, cancer. Total Energies, France, oil from Angola, Nigeria, Congo. 2022 profit, $36 billion. Investment, dirty pipelines. Anglo American, founded in South Africa, now in London, takes diamonds, iron, platinum, leaves 6 million South African miners unemployed. And these are only the visible. What about the invisible? The secret deals, the offshore accounts, the transfer pricing tricks. $88 billion in illegal money leaves Africa every year. No one writes about it. But when $4 billion in aid comes to Africa, everyone writes about it. But no one says Africa is not the continent receiving aid, it's the continent giving aid. While you zoom in on swollen bellies, a massive machine runs in the background. Every day, tons of gold, diamonds, cobalt, uranium, oil leave our land. How? Here's the system. 1. Create corruption, bribe leaders, offshore accounts, Western schools for their children. 2. Make deals. 50-year concessions, tax exemptions, no labor or environmental rules. 3. Control infrastructure, own ports, airports, railways, but only from mine to harbor. 4. Provide security, private military firms, suppress protest. 5. Suppress truth, criminalize resistance, feed unrest stories to global media. This system has worked for over 100 years, and you don't see it because you are part of it. Who funds your media? Biggest advertisers of the New York Times, CNN, BBC, oil companies, mining firms, arms manufacturers, pharmaceutical giants. You defend their interests. What I'm about to say may cost me my life, but it's no longer time to be silent. France's system, the CFA franc. 14 African countries still use colonial currency. 50% of reserves stored in the French treasury. France applies negative interest. We pay France to use our money. France extracts $500 billion annually from Africa. But when France gives us 10 billion euros in aid, headlines everywhere. Britain's system, the laundromat empire. London, world capital of money laundering. Jersey, Guernsey, Cayman, Virgin Islands, all British. Every penny stolen from Africa passes through London. America's system, AFRICOM, 46 military bases across Africa. Official purpose, security. Real purpose, resource control. Drones in our skies, listening devices in our lands. Not terrorists, but leaders are the targets. China's system, debt diplomacy, infrastructure loans. In return, 99-year leases, mining rights, agricultural lands. Ask Sri Lanka, ask Zambia. And you report none of this because you are not free press, you are corporate press. Your bosses are billionaires. Jeff Bezos owns Washington Post. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News, Wall Street Journal, The Sun. Carlos Slim, Mexico's telecom king, owns New York Times. Do they serve truth? Or do they serve power? Who are your editors? Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge. Always the same worldview, always the same prejudice. How many languages does your Africa correspondent speak? You have no idea who we are, but we are awake now. We are speaking now, and this time you cannot silence us.